to another broadcast of In Circle Ministry, where I'm your host here, Rico Blakeney, and this is our virtual YouTube ministry, where we take things and put them up under a microscope and see things for what they are. Take a deeper look at them. We can see things that you normally couldn't see with the naked eye. So also with that thought and idea is to be able to take things and see it with the singular eye, see it with the third eye, see things um, for what they really are, not just for a surface look or a surface appearance. And so you can see the mechanics of the things. And you can take the truth of that thing or the truth of things that we look at and then see how we actually can apply those things in our life and to yield the result that we want. So here we strive for self-mastery. And self-mastery is just being able to master the higher consciousness or the higher being inside of you, not mastering it in the sense that you have power and control over it, but you submit and become to that higher consciousness, or you become the God that you are. Um, so with that being said, we want to thank you for coming out to our live stream. I know I've been talking about it in my other episodes, but I'm able to do it on my phone now, what makes it more convenient for me um, to be able to um, come out here and do it whenever I can without having to sit down behind the desk or get to the desk to actually make a video. So being able to do it from my phone, like right now, coming out of my garden, I can stop and make the video and have interaction with you guys. So I'm thankful for all the subscribers. Know that you are leaders and you're not followers, but you have subscribed to making yourself a better person. That's why I believe your energy has drawn you to the channel or to the video in some way, shape, form, or fashion in your search. So I think the title for this is called One Love, and we'll dig more into that as well. Um, like I said, I've been talking for a while, so I think every Wednesday, I've been talking for a while about going live. So every Wednesday is when at 7 o'clock is um, good for my schedule. I have a couple other buddies on YouTube that I follow and watch and subscribe to. Hindsight Radio with Akeem L. I watch him and Above and Beyond with Corinne. Of the other people that I do and I watch and spend my downtime, my learning time with those guys as well. So they got great channels. Check those guys out. Um, but me myself, I've been able to get on my phone and make it more convenient. I do a lot of my other ones and I stream them and pre-record the videos. I never really um, do a quality check on them. So when I do record the video, I upload them, and it'd be my first time watching it, just like it would be your first time watching it. And I do go over it, and I then I use my hindsight to critique some things or look at some things I may have thought about or omitted or might have got it wrong, so as I could correct it or if need to be, or make the correction and the things that need to be made on, and not only in my life but also on the channel as well. Um, I'm a learner, even though I do a lot of teaching. I'm a learner and always learning. I think that we all are, and we're all learning in different ways, different levels, and at different times. But we're all growing and learning. Um, so every Wednesday, I'm thinking about a name for it. I ain't come up with one positive name yet, but I do like so far thinking about recharge Wednesdays. And, there'd be um, certain topics we'll talk about and do other things outside of me still doing the videos. It's the live stream be more so dedicated on that Wednesday to be more inspirational, more um, things that may help you or that has helped me in a sense to motivate us to recharge and to keep going. Um, More so living in the now and continue to stay in the now and not getting caught in the hustle bustle of the scheduling of the 5 day week schedule, or if you're an entrepreneur, the 7 day week schedule. um, but um, getting into the one love, the topic for the one love comes with a lot of things that goes on. I believe that will um, help like it helped me, describing how I believe that we all are a part of one consciousness, or um, the way I seen it as I was coming through. through my biblical stages, and that sort has been in the body of Christ, or we all are one part of God. We are all small atoms and part of a bigger organism, and we play our different parts in that. So, and that brought me to the understanding or the overstanding of self mastery, and getting to that point of being controlled or being the master over the only thing that I can be control over, and that is me, myself, and I, and being the best organism I can inside of the body or the consciousness that I believe that we're all a part of. Um, just like real simple, like I believe that you are another version of myself, and if there's any good qualities about you or the same qualities about myself, and the vice versa. And if there's any bad qualities about you that you are displaying at that time, or bad qualities as for say bad qualities that I possess in myself that I may not be showing, but that keeps me humble, and keeps me in my lane and staying into my own self mastery, and not worried about anything that I may see as flaws or imperfections in other people or other individuals, and understanding that we are all a part of this great big consciousness, whether we live it and get it in this life or life before or life after this, however it may be, and in the multiverse and multiple dimensions, or however it may be. But all of us being into this infinite thing that we all come from is the creator or the source of the universe. The power that created the universe is the same power that we are. So we're living out different lives and different aspects, and all at the same time. So we're all a part of the same country. We're all a part of the one body. No matter what organism you are, you're a part of the body. Just like the kidneys and the atoms that produce the kidneys are different from the atoms that produce the toenails, but they're all atoms inside the same organism working together for the greater good of one organism, which I believe that's what we are as uh, human vessels. Well, spiritual beings here as human vessels to have a certain expression on the life that we're living, and to be that to ourselves first and then to humanity. Um, so, like I was saying, so to keep me in my lane and keep me humble and keep me working on my self mastery, if certain things about a certain person is brought to my attention, or brought that gets to me, or may not get to me in a offset way, but it could be in a positive way, something that agrees with me. Most time, the things that agree with you, you leave with good energy. You can leave feeling recharged. You don't feel drained after the conversation or the encounter with the individual or the thing that you're endowed with. Um, so keeping it real simple, then you don't have time to look at anything that you may call a fault or a displeasure. You can still focus on your time and your energy on yourself and your self growth. And another way of putting it, that way you can stay focused on seeking thee first the kingdom of heaven and all of its righteousness, and then all those other things will be added unto you. Keeps me locked and keep me focused in that spectrum of thought concept. Even though you'll hear me say that I am God and creator of my own domain, and whether I create a heaven or hell, or a garden or a earth or whatever I may create, everything that's created is created through me. That's affected in my life. Um, Everything that I have, I've created. If it's from good experiences to the things that I possess physically, mentally, um, or whatever it may be, the things that we do attain, that they come from us. So there's a bunch of things going on in my life that I don't like, or that are not pleasing to my sight. Then I know that it was caused from a thought and an action that I done, or a non-action that I done. If it's from financial, or if it's from simple sense. I mean, a simple example is my garden. If I don't water it in this drought, if I don't keep the weeds pulled off, I don't do something to block the weeds from growing, then I'm going to have overgrowth. So there's going to be a result that's going to happen, whether it's to the results that I want to, if it's pleasing to my sight or not. And if you know anything about garden, weeds and dried plants are not pleasing to that sight. So it's either from something that I've done or didn't do, whether if I had knowledge of it or not. But having knowledge Knowing that I can water the plants and I can keep the weeds pulled out, then that action, I don't have to worry about the things that displease me, and I can have all the pleasurable things that it is from my actions and not from my non-action. But um, so if you're rocking with it, you understand what I'm saying. You, no matter what it is, however it is in your life, you're getting what you put into it. Everything works that way, and it's only, I believe it's only one love. And when we get to that place of one love and understanding that, and can focus on that one love, then we can cut out a lot of dislike and a lot of the boundaries and a lot of the separation that comes from our upbringing, um, from societal norms, from our religion, or just from our likes and dislikes, and understand that we are all a part of the same body. If the stomach was to get into an argument with the mouth, and the mouth decided not to eat anymore, then the stomach not only causes death to itself, but it causes all the other limbs, the members, the feet, the legs, the eyes, the head. It causes everyone else to suffer. um, in that concept. So we can. I've been able to grow more and experience more, dealing with myself and in others in that same like manner. So as I said earlier about staying in your own lane, or keeping me in my own lane and keeping me working on my self mastery, I can spend my time meditating on all the things that has been sparked inside of me, as for a bit of building the generational wealth for the grandkids, so they don't have to work and they can do what they choose to do, and which I hope is continue to work on themselves and to find out who they are and grow within themselves, and to do whatever it is pleasing to them in the life cycle that they will have, and not only to benefit them, but how they can benefit society as well, or humanity as well. So um, that that in itself is real simple. It's not really complex, but like I say, that can knock down a bunch of boundaries of racism, the indoctrinations of religions, even the organizations, or the way that society and this world is set up for the division of the polar opposites, the male and the females. It takes both of us to coexist and recreate the same like being, so as humanity can continue to exist. Same way with any other species. It's but for us, and speaking as um, that that we have to all walk in that one love and that one consciousness, and it within inside of that, there's a lot of things you don't see and you don't judge. I'm not going to say that they're not visibly present to you, but they're not effective to you. So they don't cause you to react in a way that will be non-responsive. It will have you to react in a way that will help edify or help grow, either within yourself or that individual that you're dealing with or you come in contact with. Um, so the first love that you have to have in this one love is love for thyself. One of the things that helps me with the concept of me being God and having the Christ mindset that me and the Father are the same. I am just a spoken word of the thought. I am just a physical existence of the invisible energy. Grab that? Hope that makes sense. I'm just a physical expression of the invisible energy. So the spoken word, the manifestation of the thought, the full circle of it. So, um, with that, the first love has to be within myself. So you will hear it, and you've heard me say it on this channel before, that I am God, and besides me there is none other. So with just that concept, understanding the spiritual, having an understanding of the spiritual concept, is that you come first. It's not selfish. It's um, not self-centered in a sense, but it is self-centered, but it's not selfish. In order for you to be good to yourself or to be good to anyone else or anything that you're going to involve yourself in, you first must be in good health, mental, physical, spiritually, emotionally, in all those areas. So you must be good to thyself. You must learn to love thyself with everything that you see. So if you see yourself and you see any imperfections or any flaws with thyself, then you are looking with the two eyes. You're not in the microscope. You haven't made your eye singular. You have not looked things and see the mechanical working of thyself. You have not been able to see how and what you really are. So it took me a while to get there as well. But understanding that and that concept that once I'm happy, once I'm at peace, all my power and energy and everything else can be dispersed. I can be an effective person. Um, I love to work with my hands, so most of the things that um, I do with my hands, from carpentry to mechanic work to whatever it may be. I do it. I do it with my own hands, and I love that. So I always put myself into my work. So that's a difference in between me and maybe some other people. There's a lot of others like me as well, but that's where I say one of the things that stands out to me about it. So with that, then I can, once I know how to love myself, then am I able to love others? A lot of time we've been taught to try to give away something we don't understand what it is or how it operates. We've told to love other people. We've told to love God. We've told to love everything with your whole heart, mind, body, and soul. And to be able to do that, you have to understand what that feels like for yourself to be loved. And through my experience through life, a lot of times what ended up happening is I've ended up empty and void of the love that I reciprocated. I never could get it back. I was too busy giving it to everyone else instead of myself. Not saying that I was wrong for giving it to everyone else. I was wrong, or I missed the mark, or I sinned missing the mark by placing that love and it wasn't placing it in myself and taking backseat. So the concept of me being God, there is no God beside thyself, and I take counsel with thine wise self. Um, so all the attributes of the mights and the strength that you see that, or you may hear that I was able to hear in the Bible, I've been able to understand how to place them within myself with that concept of just me being God. Uh, so learning to love oneself first, that's the one love that you have to have in order to be able to love others enough. So that takes time with spending with yourself and growing and to learn thyself and to deal with thyself. The whole concept of self-mastery is to get within thyself and figure out who you are outside of what you are, because God is just what I am. That's just like Christ is just a title, king, the queen of the president, judge, sheriff. No matter what those titles are, those are positionings, but to find out who you are as an individual, then can you actually operate in those positions and be right in those positions. Um, so learn to love thyself, and when you learn to love thyself, you will understand that there's going to be times that you need to be by thyself and be to thyself and not give that love out. You must save it for thyself and to keep it charged up for you until you build it up. Um, Trying to think about it, who said it, and I think it was somewhere in Paul about edifying thyself. Sometimes David said that when he was weak, he had to encourage yourself in the Lord in a sense. And then Paul also said something about, to build thyself up, to edify thyself, like using the certain gifts that there were. Certain gifts you should not use unless you're going to use it to edify thyself. They're not for public display. They're not for public um, actions. Just like Christ was saying about giving your alms in public. They're not made for public display. They're things to do in the private. And the Bible also says, or you hear it written in the scriptures that um, you do things with the Lord of secrets in private, and He blesses you openly, and things of that nature. But you have to put that energy within thyself and spend that energy within you to recharge yourself, so as you can be the the light or the source that triggers the next thing. Um, so with a small example of that, it's like whenever I changed my diet for the better. I'm not getting into details about that, but having a healthier life and getting off of meats and all other things. Once my diet changed, I didn't have to. tell my family about how harmful or how um, jacked up I've learned about a lot of things that we'll consume into our body. I didn't have to preach them a sermon. They saw me live one, and they began to gravitate without me having to explain to them why. I didn't have to tell them you need to stop eating this. You know, the normal thing that we would do, or the normal thing that I was taught to do, or the normal thing that was normal to me. Especially like whenever you first get saved, you want to tell everybody about the Lord and Savior. You want to bring everybody into this experience that you're having. So the same thing, same principles in different places. It's the same principle. So when sometimes we get excited in doing a thing, or we get excited in our new growth and our own self development, that we expect everyone else to see it, understand it, and want to partake in it. You want them to drink the blood and eat the bread with you. So a lot of times the sermon that's given to the preacher is for the preacher to eat for a while. It's for him to eat the book, and let it be belly sweet to his belly, and let it get bitter later on, so as he can get the overstanding of the self growth that needs to come with himself, with the message that came to him, and that's not for everyone, for say. But hope you continue to still following with me, and you still ripping with me, and vibing with me on the subject, and can follow along with me. So once you can love thyself and learn to put that energy within thyself, then can you be effective in the other places. And as I had to grow out of that, as I was speaking earlier, so I'm gonna make this disclaimer now. Anytime you hear me talk about them, they, the church, the pastor, I'm talking about myself. It's the things that I've done. I may not be participating in those things now, but those things are ever present. Just like my past and things that I don't do no more. They are still part, but they are not effective anymore. But I'm speaking of myself. And so once I was able to learn to love myself, was I able to look at other individuals and learn to love them from where they were. I've always had a compassionate heart. They say I never meet a stranger. I'm always friendly. I'm always able to talk and meet people and interact with people, no matter what race, nationality, or geographical location we're at. Um, I just always been that type of individual. But saying that, once I came to a higher vibration or higher consciousness, I wasn't upset no more with some of the things that I've learned. And a lot of times I see that, just like I did, a lot of people coming to new information and new knowledge, and then you're mad at the knowledge that you got, and then you're blaming everyone you got the knowledge from, instead of evaluating yourself and seeing, why did you trust it and why did you believe it? Were they wrong for giving that to you? Did they trust it and they believe it? Where did they get their information from? Was it hearsay that was passed down as truth, or was it looked up, backed up, certified, factual proof? And so a lot of times when we get into it, when I got into it turned me against all the things that I knew that were traditional and religiously done by me in my upbringing. Didn't never hate the individuals. It was just that I expected them to follow along. I expected them to understand and see, because I felt like, or at that time was thinking, I'm a product of your upbringing, so you should understand. You should see what I am. So with me telling you these other things, you should understand and see as well. But just like um, that passed and I grew into it, just like learning about the tooth fairy at a young age, learning about Santa Claus at a young age, um, and not wanting to reciprocate that same lie with my kids as I got older and knew I wanted to have kids, that there were things I didn't want to teach my kids. But nevertheless, it still learned, even though I never was big on it. But the same way you move on and move past those things, I wasn't mad no more, because the people that I trusted and I went to for a source of trust gave me what they gave me. I found it out not to be true, so that I had to grow in my own self to be able to not judge them, but to judge the information. And that's a big step. And a lot of times it's what we'll get whenever we work into this self-mastery and understand more and more about the one love. That you don't have to lose love for those that still do, and that are just reflections of yourself. Um, in a different way, in a different faction. So, learn to love thyself, and once you're able to learn to do that in that self-mastery form, everything else, I believe, falls into play and will come to you and through your experiences and everything else as you continue to grow into that, um, or grow into who you are and your experiences and why you're here and why do you have any experiences that you're having, how to alter them and change them or whatever it may be for your specific making and your specific being. So, if nothing else is taken away from a lot of the things that I did talk about, and I do know I talk fast, I talk real fast, so you have to keep up with me, stop, play, rewind later on, or whatever. But I think fast, I talk fast, but I know I've said a lot of things and covered a lot of things in this video. So some of the key points I want you to be able to take away from it is just like we minister here, is that you have to have some type of moral compass. And your moral compass is what guides you in how to act whenever you're in the presence of others or by yourself. There are things that you will do and things you won't do. And everybody that's human has a pushing point on certain things they will not do. You know, people that will not steal, kill, or destroy, but if they were put in the position where their family had to eat and their kids needed certain things, people would go to what we would call, or what normally has been identified as, to the extremes. Um, Become more physical thinking. They're not saying logical thinking, but anyway, not to get into all of that. But whenever we grow and we deal with our self mastery and take things for truth and understand who we are and get on a search for that, we have to spend time and spend energy with ourselves. And the more that we love ourselves, the more we should be able to love our fellow brothers and our fellow sisters, no matter what race or whatever they may be, as long as they're human. You know, it's just one unified love, one unified consciousness. And I believe that we all live in separate lives and separate times, so as we all get different experiences. We are the creator in itself, having different experiences through the body. It's a song that used to listen to was I'm a spiritual being having a physical experience. I'm not a physical being having a spiritual experience. There's a difference. So spend time on loving yourself, loving on others. And if you're not at the point where you're receiving the love or you're not getting the love that you need from any outside source, then go within thyself and learn to love thyself first. And once you can do that, you'll never thirst and hunger for love again. Um, you can grow within that, and then you can accept people from any walks of life, and you can receive anything that is positive that you're able to receive from. We would call it eating the meat and spitting out the bone. So no matter what race, nationality, gender, or whatever it may be, you can take something that can edify you in your life and benefit you in your life. You should be taking nothing into you that does not benefit you or edify you emotionally, spiritually, most importantly, emotionally, psychologically, and financially. And so the rest of this video and the rest of this live stream is going to be a shout out to all the other guys that I minister down here in my hometown of Lancaster that I deal with on a one-on-one basis and things of that nature. Um, and to the other people that may look at this and check it out later on, and most of the youth are, when I say youth, I don't mean this in a negative way, but I mean a young way of thinking. We've lost a bunch of people in my family to death, gun violence, and other things. Because I believe it's because people don't understand the one love concept as well. And if they did, they would understand that affiliating, associating yourself with people or with the energy from videos to music to the company or whatever that's going to be all about destroying, taking life, or having to do those things just to be out here, joining gangs and things of that nature that's gonna take pleasure in those destructive things. You're gonna reap those things. My grandmama had a saying a long time ago that there's no innocent person at the club. So saying that to say this is that we associate ourselves and we make contracts with with energies, and we make contracts with things where God will not be marked, the world will not be marked. The universe is going to give you exactly what you put out. That what you sow is what you reap. You can't pull out what ain't in the bank account. So when you put those energy out there, you make those contracts, and you spend your energy in liking and absorbing those things, you can look for those type of things to happen. You can look for pain somewhere in your life to happen, getting injured physically, if it's from the hands of someone else, or just doing the normal stuff. You can look for confrontation in your life. You can look for anxiety in your life. You can look for depression in your life. You can look for those type of individual that's only going to feed into that and going to add to that. So whenever you do those things, you're going to get that back. So you have to love yourself enough to know that living that life, you forfeit your life in the streets or in those gangs or in that type of environment. If you don't end up in jail, you're going to end up in the graveyard or in a wheelchair. Those are the only three places for the game. If you don't use the fourth, which should be the first option, is getting, excuse me, the fuck out. Um, that's the only way that game is made. There's ways that you can do to not have to forfeit your life in either one of those positions. Because if you're in the grave, this experience and this life is over with till the next one comes. However, whatever. If you're behind bars, whatever you had, you forfeit. If you had kids, mama, daddy, sister, brother, uncle, niece, nephew, friends, associates, baby mama, girlfriend, hoes, or whatever, gone. You forfeit that to be around others, other males like you, other females like you, um, which I would call a low quality of life. You've been herded off into a greater slave, a greater plantation, and a low quality of life. Bleach reproduction, living to see the kids, grandkids down to the fourth generation, being able to secure the woman and secure the financial stabilities in order to take care of that and to be able to give to the grandkids and not to leave them dead. That is OG stuff. Most of the people that you will hear about or see that is in that game that escaped their life or maybe got out of that after doing their time or doing whatever they had to do to give their tally up to karma for those actions. Some of them have been successful and some of them have not been successful. But if they would know that the energy that they put their things into, you would get it. So if you put your energy into building, if you put your energy into getting a job, into getting a house, to getting an apartment or getting your own place, to sustaining yourself so you can sustain the woman, do all these other things, you can get those things. Even if you're getting a job from McDonald's or 2 or 3 jobs, everything out here is out here. And if you put your energy to it, you're going to get it. So there's no need to sticking your hand in the fire and complaining for getting burned. So my advice or my good thought towards anyone that's out there is get out of it. If you change your energy from that BS, then it won't follow you. It's not going to run you down. It's not going to hunt you down. And I know there's some deep things that you can get involved into that I hope they haven't got to that point. But honestly believe if you change it around now, that when you do come back around the next time, you'll be headed in that path, in that direction. It won't have to be another low level or low vibration that you will have to continue to stay into that hell. You can elevate your consciousness and come to a higher consciousness and enter into the kingdom of heaven now. Not after death, but now, and enter into it and have the blessing things that you can have and be around to hear your wife or your girlfriend or your baby mama now turned wife or your kids to be able to call you daddy and hear their kids be able to call you granddaddy and you can answer back. Or whatever your gender may be, if you're a female, however, whatever. Those are the things in life that is what we're here for. Taking your own life isn't another way out. That's another forfeiture. No matter what and how bad life is, or you feel like it is, then that's not the way. And that's not speaking for every situation. I know people can be in some jacked up, real bad situations. So I'm not speaking in all those. I'm speaking on those that, well, most of the time, if you could just understand and love yourself enough that you won't allow that to happen to you, you won't allow no one else to do it to you. And you wouldn't do nothing to no one else that you wouldn't want done to you. That comes with the umbrella, up under the umbrella of of self-mastery. So all you young boys out here doing this thing, living, and you're out here dying and killing for pride and principle, it is the cheapest, worthless thing to take a life for. The price of bullets are cheap, and the things you're arguing about, and my cousins and all these other ones, not even gonna get into the number of them that's losing their life. A lot of them not making over the age of 30. Some of them not making to the age of 25. Most of them in between the ages of 14 to 21, and they forfeit their life either through the grave through some actions, or either in jail through some other actions. And so either way it goes, nobody's out here beefing over money. They're not beefing over females. It's no real threat to nobody's family. It's just a bunch of games and Facebook games because you don't have, or you're not expressing or understanding one love. You're living your Facebook or your Instagram or your Snapchat persona. You're living that perspective that you portray to the world in your gangster name, your gangster profile. That really isn't who you are. You're a nice, love, caring individuals. There's only a couple of few out here that are warriors by nature and that are just stone cold killers. I'm not denying that neither, but a lot of you are not. That's why you go to funerals. That's why you're in the funeral. That's why you're crying. This is why you're sad. And this is why you long living. Because you have a heart. Listen to it, man. Fall away from that stuff. Seek the other things and the good things, and you'll be able to get them. They'll come to you because you're going to go to them. So that's about the only thing I wanted to do, and I didn't want to skip mentioning. So if I know some of my subscribers are some of my young ones that I do minister to, and you're watching. Like I said, I'm not going to do my name, but just remember that you are God and you're God all by yourself. And if you draw closer to the God within you, the God in you will draw closer to you. And if you withdraw yourself from the devil inside of you, or the devil that you can be, or the devil that you are being, then that devil will flee from you. You don't have to worry about those things. So remember that, if nothing else, love yourself more than anything else. And then can you love those other things? We've been taught to love everything else but ourselves, and we've been taught to put everything else before ourselves. And that's why we're never ever able to leave anything for no one else, and we never have nothing for ourselves. So until next Wednesday, or the next time I post another video or I upload one, I want you to walk in peace, walk in love, walk in perfect health, and walk in perfect prosperity. Grow within thyself and continue to work on thyself mastery. There's nothing wrong with studying long. The old saying, so you study long, you study wrong. I say that's not so. Examine yourself and study yourself. And the more you study yourself, the more you'll learn. Some experiences we learn through, and some experiences we don't have to go through in order to learn. So until next Wednesday, or until next time I put it up, another video, I want to thank you for coming out. If you join the live stream now, or if you join it later, or you watch it later, I want to thank you. Like, subscribe, comment, give your opinions, your thoughts, whatever it may be. Give a shout out, say hello, I watched it, I was here. Um, Continue to spread one love within thyself and in the world. Peace, love, and prosperity, and thank you for joining.